there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is my epic rant on the 1995 horror sequel, Howling VII, New Moon Rising. Now, before I get around to annihilating this absolutely awful movie, I would like to give a special shout out to Thomas for requesting this review. And if there's another film, TV show, or topic that you'd like to see me discuss in the future, feel free to donate to either my PayPal or to my Patreon. The link to both is in the video description down below, and I will try to get to your request as soon as I possibly can. Howling VII is an exercise in excruciating pointlessness and patheticness. Like, this is, in my opinion, not only the worst film in the Howling series, which is saying a lot because if you ask me, this series of films fucking sucks. There isn't even really one film in this franchise that I really like. At best, there's one or two that I can consider to be watchable. The rest are just varying degrees of bad or absolute fucking garbage. So to say that this is the worst one, that's saying a lot. Now, it's not only the worst Howling film. I mean, if it was the worst Howling movie, alright, okay. It's also the worst werewolf film I have ever seen. Like, this movie is hairy werewolf ass. And it's just up front, right and center, in your face, up close and personal. And it's not pretty. And it's also easily one of the worst horror films that I've had the displeasure of sitting through, and one of the worst fucking films I've ever seen in my fucking life. And I know that some people are thinking like, whoa, like that's a bit harsh. No, it's not. Have you seen Howling VII? Have you seen New Moon Rising? This film is so bad that the only thing that's going to rise at the end of the movie is 2 middle fingers. Because you will be absolutely infuriated by what you witnessed. I don't even understand, let alone can I fathom why this exists. This isn't even really a film. It's a bunch of shitty home videos or home movies of some country western bar in the middle of bumfuck nowhere with non-actors acting. I swear to God, I think Clive Turner, the director, writer, producer, and co-star of this film, I think he managed to get his cast by just offering people free 6-packs of beer and line dancing lessons at the local country western bar. Because that's really what you get when it comes to performances in this film. The performances and the acting in this movie is so fucking awful that I swear to Christ, I have seen better acting in an elementary school play. And if that isn't bad enough, the directing is a fucking disaster. Clive Turner has no business being anywhere near a fucking camera, and it really shows. He's focusing in on the wrong things at the wrong time. He doesn't even know how to shoot establishing shots properly, which is just basic fucking directing talent. It's just basic directing stuff, and he can't even fucking do that. He can't shoot scenes that are supposed to be suspenseful or scary in the slightest. He can't even shoot scenes that are supposed to be just regular dialogue scenes because he can't shoot them in a way where you can understand what everybody in the scene is even fucking saying. It is just an astonishing level of incompetence when it comes to the direction for this film. I mean, it's almost to the level where I swear to God, the camera itself was trying to tell him to stop. To save us all. And to save himself from the embarrassment. Because there's a scene in this film where the camera focuses in on a stop sign. Why? It serves no purpose. It doesn't fit in with the plot. It doesn't really set up anything. It's not really necessary, but there it is. Right there. Stop sign. And I'm like, yeah, you should have taken the stop sign's advice, Clive, and stopped. Because you don't know jack fucking shit when it comes to directing. And apparently he wasn't the original director. It was some other guy, but then his vision was so different from Clive Turner's that Clive eventually started to basically just tell this guy what to do, which I find to be absolutely laughable. Like, you're in no position to tell anyone what to do when it comes to directing because you're not a fucking director. You're a hack. Because all that your directing does is hack up fucking hairballs. So he was telling this other guy what to do, so then eventually the other guy was like, fuck this, I'm out. And so Clive Turner wound up shooting like 40% of the movie again. He shot like 40% of the film when reshoots in 3 weeks. No wonder this film looks so fucking shitty. No wonder the direction has no consistency other than it consistently is crap. You got an incompetent, egotistical director who has no clue when it comes to even the most basic levels of directing, who thinks that he not only can get away with telling the original director what he should be doing, but then take over the production and then shoot almost half the film all over again in 3 weeks. And if the direction isn't bad enough, you have this script by Clive Turner. It takes place in this town called Pioneer Town in California. There is a dead body that's found on the side of the road by some investigators, and that leads to them trying to investigate what's happening in this small town. And one of the people that winds up coming to this small town to help investigate things is this reporter guy named Ted. And so Ted Smith goes undercover and he works for this local country western bar that's run by Pappy and his pals. And eventually there's a werewolf that is killing people, and the werewolf is the one that's behind the murder at the beginning of the plot. And Ted is involved because he's trying to figure out who the werewolf is, and this also leads to this other investigator guy and this priest. And the priest, he's pretty sure that it's a werewolf before anyone else figures it out. And it's this game of whodunit in terms of who is killing these people in this small town. And of course, there's a bunch of red herrings, and one of them is Ted. And there's an attempt to try to pull the wool over your eyes with a twist, but it's not very well handled because there's really only one or two potential options for who the werewolf could be. And you definitely do not really think that it's going to be Ted, because this is Clive Turner. That's his character. There's no way he's going to be the bad guy. So it just leaves this one girl who, wow, she turns out to be the werewolf. What a shocker. And there's barely a smidgen of a plot here. there's just stuff with the werewolf attacks happening in a small town. Some guy goes there to investigate it. There's some other people that are also investigating these attacks, and there's a tiny teensy bit of a mystery, and it all resolves itself super quickly. The werewolf reveals itself, smashes through a door, gets shot, and then it's over. There's maybe a few other scenes involving this cop who's also brought in, and he considers Ted to be a suspect, and that really doesn't lead to anywhere. In all honesty, most of this script is just really bad puns. I mean, puns that are so bad even the Crypt Keeper would groan. Here's what I mean. Ted Smith comes into the bar, and he's ingratiating himself with the locals and with the people who work there. And he's mentioning that he came from Australia, and there's one of the bar goers, and one of the employees is all like, "Oh, I bet your arms are tired. I bet you got a case of armoritis." And then Ted is all like, "Oh yeah, I'm glad I didn't get hepatitis." And then there's another guy who chimes in and continues this string of bad puns, and is like, "Oh, it's better than smallpox or diphtheria." I'm like, kill me. Just fucking kill me now. Why the fuck am I having to be subjected to this torture? These jokes are fucking horrible. They're not funny. And it just continues throughout this screenplay, because Clive Turner thinks he's the funniest fucking guy ever. Like, he thinks that he could take this shit on tour. Like, he could actually make a stand-up special out of these jokes, because he just repeats them over and over again. He beats them like dead horses to the point where there isn't even a horse left to even beat. It's just turned into dust. Yeah, and like that one gag with the pneumonia and the hepatitis. There's another scene where Ted and this other guy are in the bathroom, and they are looking at each other awkwardly, and then Ted basically says the guy has a cocktail weenie for a dick. Then there's multiple fucking George Jones jokes, because apparently Clive Turner thought it was the funniest thing ever that this small town in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, USA, who is into country western music, doesn't know who George Jones is. And I'm like, that makes no fucking sense. They know who all these other country western singers are. They even reference them by name, but they don't know who George Jones is? That's like if you had a bunch of metalheads who didn't know who the fuck Motley Crue was, and they were all like, "Motley who?" Stupid. It's not funny, that's just dumb. Then there's just this other gag with this guy who comes to the bar, and he wears colorful shirts. You know, like a purple shirt or a yellow shirt with like different patches of colors. And he just keeps getting dunked on by people at the bar who keep telling him that, "Oh, did you get your clothes from Jacqueline's side of the closet again?" And it's not just a one-off. That happens like 3 times in the script. That joke. It wasn't fucking funny the first time, but man, Clive Turner thinks it's going to be a riot the 3rd time. Or the 4th time around, just like the gag about Pappy's chili, because Pappy's making some chili in the outside, and some dirt gets in the chili. So then, while they're discussing at the bar who killed the most recent victim, the topic of dirt and Pappy's chili keeps popping up. So you'll have them talking about, oh, hey, did you see who died recently? Like, yeah, that's pretty bad. Oh, hey, Pappy, you know there's dirt in your chili? It's like, oh yeah. And then they'll continue on the conversation, and then somebody else will come in, and they will talk. They'll talk to the other people in the room, and then that person will tell Pappy about his dirt and his fucking chili. And I'm like, I don't fucking give a shit. I don't care about Pappy's chili. I don't care about the dirt in the chili. I don't care if there's a dick in the chili. Shut the fuck up and stop talking about the dirt in Pappy's chili. Stop talking about chili. Don't fucking care. What does this have to do with anything? Nothing. It has nothing to do with anything. It's not like it really serves any purpose other than to frustrate the hell out of you because it's just so fucking dumb and pointless. Oh, and since there's a chili scene, of course we also have to have a fart scene because yeah, great. Now go right ahead. I mean, might as well just throw in lazy fart jokes too, because you're already killing me with these unbelievably cringe puns and attempts at humor, and now you're just gonna do lame fart jokes. Where this one character's eating the chili and he's walking away and he's going and then you have a Clive Turner going and the guy's farting. And I'm like, am I in hell? Because that's what this seems like. This is hell for me. Oh, God. And I cannot talk about this script or this film without mentioning the countless scenes of country singing or line dancing. There's at least 4 different scenes in this movie of line dancing. Why are there so many scenes of line dancing? Was Clive Turner doing fucking lines when he was writing his script? Is that why there's 4 different scenes of line dancing? Is that why there's so much fucking bad, unbelievably hard to listen to country music? Including a little ditty by Pappy himself? I'd rather be forced to do a pap smear on a smelly hooker from the side of the fucking street than listen to Pappy sing again. I don't want to hear you talk about stand up, stand up and testify. Should be more like stand up and testify, because these scenes in this film is so bad it makes your testes fry. So yeah, just bad country music, which I don't like fucking country western music for the most part. So now I'm just subjected to listen to amateur hour country western music. And I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking pure pain. And then you have the line dancing. And then you have scenes of werewolf attacks where I swear to fucking God they are shot in tomato vision. They're shot with the Campbell's fucking soup can. You got some grilled cheese with that? No? Oh, you're just gonna throw fucking Campbell's soup in my eyes? It really does. It looks like tomato vision. It looks like it's from the point of view of a killer tomato when it's attacking somebody, not a fucking werewolf. And those scenes are so badly done that it really legitimately is physically painful to watch. It makes your eyes hurt. So this film is already bad enough as it is. And now you're causing me actual physical pain. Fuck you. So, God, I just thinking about this movie makes me see red. And it's not just because I'm seeing red every time a werewolf attacks. And speaking of werewolf, the one scene that you see featuring the werewolf, it has some of the shittiest, worst makeup effects. And honestly, the worst transformation effects that you will ever see in any werewolf movie. And to make matters worse, the woman who turns into the werewolf, she's wearing a banana yellow shirt. So she's wearing this banana yellow shirt, turns into the werewolf, and it's this fucking laughable, just atrocious looking practical effect. And it breaks through a balsa wood door and then gets shot off screen. So the one scene that you have featuring a werewolf that isn't stock footage from other Howling sequels is like 30 seconds. I'm just speechless. It's a werewolf movie, and the werewolf is in it for 30 fucking seconds. Because all the other attacks, they're shot with tomato vision, and they happen off screen, pretty much. Might as well be off screen because you're tempted to turn the screen off because your eyes are burning so much watching those scenes. I mean, this is just... It's insane. It's insane how bad this is. It continues because there's a majority of the film that is just stock footage from other Howling sequels. Howling 4, 5, and 6. And it's just some guy talking about the events that occurred in Howling 5. I'm like, why? Why am I getting a recap of Howling 5? If I want that, I will just watch Howling 5 again. There's like random scenes from 6 on a television that are discussed. There is not only one scene of a character explaining the events in Howling 5, but 2. Then there's another scene with a character from Howling 4 who's telling her story and what happened at the end of that movie. But then you have a narrator who clearly isn't the same actress, who can't narrate worth the fucking shit. So you have this actress from Howling 4 who's taking a paycheck for like 2 minutes, and then she doesn't even do the narration for half her scene. What, did Clive Turner drop the tape recorder and break it? And then he had to redub the narration because he's such a fucking fool? Such a fucking joke. He can't even record narration properly? So, oh, whoops, I fucked up. Oh, dang, I forgot to press record. I'm sorry. Well, I can't use that audio because it didn't record it, so I gotta get Sally over here. Hey, Sally, here's another 6-pack. Can you record this narration for me? Is it Coors? Yeah, it's Coors. All right. Just I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know why this movie ever got made. I know Clive Turner even mentioned his original idea was just to make a movie that was nothing but stock footage from Howling sequels. And I'm like, this is where we are coming from when it comes to the writer for this. His original idea was just to make a stock footage film. which explains why there's so much B-roll in this movie. Scenes of people just doing random shit for no fucking reason other than to pad the runtime. Hey, let's have Ted and his pals at the bar clean the bar while wearing fucking sombreros. Let's have a scene where Ted and this other guy, they're just mimicking each other. They're drinking a beer, pushing up their glasses, fixing their shirt. And then this other guy comes to the table, to the bar, and then does the same fucking shit. And I'm like, you know what? I don't drink, but this movie is so bad, and it's so fucking boring, and it's so pointless, and so full of fucking useless padding that, you know what? I kind of want to drink. I kind of want a shot of vodka or whiskey so I can forget and just completely erase the memory of this shit from my fucking brain. Just useless padding scenes that don't really add anything to the movie. So many country western musical numbers that it honestly should be called a musical and not a horror film. And so many bad jokes. And they aren't just one-timers. They're jokes that are just beaten into the ground again and again and again and again and again and again. Just like I want to beat this movie upside its fucking furry head. And it doesn't get any better when it comes to this cast. Like I said, this cast is a bunch of fucking non-actors. Just playing themselves. Acting? Not gonna find any of it here. This is the level of performance that you will just get from a trip to your local bar. It's like, hey, you hire a bunch of drunks from the local bar and then have them act in your movie. The results are fucking pathetic. The results are bad because you have a bunch of drunks and a bunch of bar goers, a bunch of employees who work at a bar who aren't fucking actors. So yeah, Clive Turner plays Ted Smith, and he's not an actor. He acted a little bit in some of the other Howling films, but he sucked in those too. Sucks even more here because now he's given a ton of screen time. And what's so ridiculous and absolutely ludicrous about this performance is that he thinks like he legitimately is a good actor. Like he's got charm and he's got charisma and he thinks that he's a badass. So there's scenes where he's kicking a cop's ass, or there's other scenes in the film where he's supposed to be very suave and charming. He's riding on a motorcycle. And I'm like, you're not fucking badass. You're just ass. And then you have the other actors, like John Huff is Father John. John Ramsden is the detective. John Ramsden was so fucking awful. The line delivery was flatter than not just a pancake, multiple pancakes, an entire fucking stack of pancakes, and waffles too. No, waffles aren't flat. How about a crepe? How about throwing some crepes? That's how fucking flat his acting was. Ernest Kester is Ernie, Romy Windsor is Marie, Cheryl Allen, Cheryl, Jacqueline Armitage is Jacqueline, Claude Allen is Pappy, a bunch of these other performers who just played themselves. And there was like one actress who was in Howling 4 who had like a brief little scene. And what's crazy is like she was the one actor that wasn't totally fucking incompetent. And I was like, wow, this is actually an actor who can act. Where did Clive Turner find this gal? Oh, wait. Oh, no, he didn't discover her. She was just an actress who was used in Howling 4. Never mind. This isn't a local. But yeah, Oh man, I mean, it's embarrassing. Like, it is so embarrassing when it comes to having to just expose yourself to the level of cringe when it comes to the performances from these actors in this cast. And then you got cinematography by Andreas Kosak. It sucks cock. It really does. It's really bad. There's no semblance of style or flair here when it comes to the way that this film is shot or the way that it looks. The editing by Clive Turner, it's a joke, just like Clive Turner himself. Especially the sound editing and the sound mixing. Like, there are scenes with Ted and this other girl, this blonde girl, I think is British for whatever reason, and she has like a romance with Ted. And I swear, every scene between the two, anytime this woman speaks, you can't understand a fucking word she's saying. It's like her mic was drowning in a bottle of beer. Like, you couldn't. It sounded like it was underwater. It literally sounded like that. And the music by Guy Moon. Wow. I mean, this music. I don't know if it's necessarily as annoying as some of the scores that I've heard in the past, but it's still really bad because it's just the same poorly put together piece that's just repeated over and over and over and over and over and over again. Everything about this film is overkill. Everything about this film is just beating a dead horse to death. Or like, oh, it's already dead. That's the point. They kill it again somehow. Like, they resurrect the horse that was dead through some kind of fucking black magic ritual and then beat it to a fucking pulp and kill it a second time. And it has a runtime of 90 minutes. It feels like 1,090 minutes. Because the pacing is absolutely miserable, because there's no reason to give a shit about any of these characters. There's no reason to care about what's happening, what little of a plot there actually is. It's not like there's any cool bits of gore. It's not like there's anything that really is going to remotely keep your interest for any length of time. So it's just slow, tedious, painful fucking torture. I would rather have a pack of wolves bite my fucking nutsack off than watch Howling 7 again. At least it would be over quicker. It really would be. Yeah, it sucks werewolf dong and it sucks werewolf dung. It's a smelly, hairy werewolf taint. It's just an absolutely abysmal, atrocious fucking film. And I don't even know if I even want to call it a film at this point. It's a thing. It's a thing that exists. And it's a thing that I fucking hate. Don't fucking watch this movie. Don't. Just don't do it. You don't need to. You don't need to expose yourself to this ungodly abomination of a fucking film. You don't need to be exposed to this level of rank werewolf BO. You don't need to. Like, it's like, hey, you know what I want today? I want raging, painful hemorrhoids. Yeah, that's what I want. I'll choose the hemorrhoids. You don't need to choose the hemorrhoids. You can just not have the hemorrhoids. You can not have the hemorrhoids that make your ass itch and your ass feel like it wants to explode because you got ravaged in the asshole by Clive Turner and his hairy rubber dildo. You don't have to do that. You could just say, nah, I'm gonna pass on that. I don't need that experience. I don't need to feel that pain. Because trust me, it's fucking not worth it. It isn't. It is not. At all. that's my thoughts on Howling 7 New Moon Rising. And I don't know what to say except thanks for watching. And as always, I'll see you later. See ya. You've got to stand up. If you've ever seen a shitty movie, stand up and testify.